Hey campers, I want to talk to y'all about something really cool today. I want to talk to you guys about faith in God. Hebrews 11:6 is our memory verse for today, and I want us all to try to memorize this verse. It's very simple. This is only the first half of the verse, but I think we can all memorize this. Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. That means without faith, there's nothing else we can do to make God happy. There's no work we can do. There's nothing we can do to make our Father happy without having faith. You might be asking yourself, what is faith? Well, faith is simply believing in something that you cannot see. A couple weeks ago in my hometown, we had tornadoes come through, and they were really bad. They were devastating, and all a tornado is just really powerful wind. And wind is something that we obviously can't see, right? But we had these tornadoes come through, and although I couldn't see the wind itself, the next morning when I got up after the tornadoes, I could see the effects of the wind. I looked around, I saw trees down, I saw houses that were damaged, I saw cars that were damaged, a lot of people got hurt. And so I could see the effects of the wind, even though I couldn't see the wind itself. And God's the same way, because we can't see God right now. In fact, no person has ever seen God on earth, because he's so great and he's so awesome. If we looked at him, we would die. I mean, the Bible literally says no man can lay eyes on God in our flesh right now, because he's so mighty, he's so awesome. And so just like we can't see God, we can see the effects of God. We can see how he's blessing us. We can see how he's changing the lives of people around us. We can see the effects of God just like we can see the effects of wind. A couple years ago, or actually longer than that, when I was y'all's age in 5th or 6th grade, we had something happen to our house. And I live close to a river, and so it rained around our house for a long time, for a few weeks. And eventually the river rose so high that our house flooded. And so we had 4 feet of water in our house. And so I woke up one morning and I go downstairs, and all of us are upstairs, obviously, because we thought it was going to flood. And when I got down there that morning, there was about 4 feet of water inside of our house. And so you can imagine what that was like. It was very difficult. We had people in our neighborhood coming in boats that morning to get my family out. I have a really big family, so they had to make a few trips, but we got our valuable belongings, and they got our family, and we would leave our house in boats. And that was very difficult for us. But during that difficult time, what I saw from my parents, I saw great faith in God. Because at that point, there were 7 of us. I had a brand new baby sister who had just been born, and we had to live in a 2-bedroom apartment, a little tiny apartment, for about 6 months while our house was being fixed. And so that was very difficult for us, but I noticed my parents had faith in God. They trusted God. And that makes me think of another person in the Bible who had to deal with a flood. In fact, this person dealt with a flood that was so big, the whole entire earth was covered in water. Can someone tell me who that man was? If you said Noah, or you thought Noah, then you're exactly right. Noah was a person that God used in the Bible to save the human race, to save so many animals. But the most important part about Noah is his faith in God. I want to read y'all a few verses in Genesis chapter 6, verses 5 through 9. Then the Lord saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And so God's looking on earth, and all he's seeing is the people that he loves, the people that he created, living in sin, not obeying him, not living by faith, being disobedient to him. And so God is very hurt by this. And in verse 6, the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth. He was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created, both from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made man. But Noah found grace in the eyes of God. And in verse 9, Noah was a just man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God. Now Noah wasn't a perfect man. He did sin, but he walked with God, and he obeyed God, and he had faith in God. And God used him in an incredible way. Here's what I want y'all to understand. So God looks at the earth, he sees all this evil, and he sees one man and his family who are living for him, who are being obedient to him. And so God asks Noah to build an ark. And an ark is just a giant ship. And so God asked Noah to build this ark, and he tells him he's going to flood the earth by rain. He's going to make it rain so much the whole earth is going to flood. Now here's the thing. In this time, rain was not common. In fact, I don't know if it had ever rained at this point, because the people that Noah was telling about this, they did not believe him at all. They probably, I'm sure they made fun of him. They mocked him. I mean, you can imagine if you've never seen rain before and then some guy comes up and says, you know what, not only is it going to rain, not only is water going to fall from the sky, but it's going to fall so much that the whole entire earth is going to be flooded. You would probably laugh that person away, right? You'd probably make fun of them. And so you can imagine Noah building this ark. People are probably making fun of him every single day. And it didn't just take a couple days to build the ark. Can anyone take a guess at how long it took Noah to build the ark? It took Noah over a year to build the ark. And so every day, this man gets up and he goes out and he works on this ark. And I'm sure every day people would pass by him and make fun of him and laugh at him and say, man, what are you doing? But Noah had faith in God, right? Another thing, Noah was 600 years old. 600 years old, an old man. Verse 6 in chapter 7 says Noah was 600 years old when the floodwaters were on the earth. An old man, but he's being obedient to God. He's building away at this ark for over a year, even though it had never rained before. And he had faith in God when nobody else did. And guess what? God always does exactly what he says, right? And so for 40 days and 40 nights, the Bible says the heavens opened and the flood waters poured out of heaven, and it rained for 40 days and 40 nights until the whole earth was covered in water. And everybody on earth died except for Noah, his family, and the pairs of animals that he had on the boat. And so you see in this incredible story how faith saved not only Noah, his family, and also the animals. Noah saved himself, his family, and all those animals because of his faith in God. But you know what the really cool thing is? Noah's faith saved him, and our faith saves us from our sins. When we put our faith in Jesus Christ, he will save us from our sins, just like Noah was saved from the floods. And that's such an amazing, amazing thought. Noah building the ark is not what saved him. Having faith in God and being obedient to God is what saved Noah and his family. Having faith, taking God at his word, even though he couldn't see God, believing in God, that's what saved him. And there's nothing we can do, guys. There's no work we can do. There's nothing that we can accomplish that's going to save us from our sins. Isaiah says that all of our sins are like filthy rags to God. All of our righteousness is like filthy rags to God. There's nothing we can do to save ourselves. But when we put our faith in Jesus Christ to save us from our sins, then he will save us just like he saved Noah from the flood. And so that's the point that I want us to take away today. And one more time, I'm going to read our memory verse for today. It's Hebrews 11:6. Without faith, it is impossible to please God.